Hello students. Today we will study about some more about event that can happen in a web page. In the previous class, I already discussed about load and unload event related with body element of the HTML document. There is the one simple code. So I already practiced this. I just highlighted just one for revision. Here the body tag has been registered with a event handler greeting, and that greeting is that is a JavaScript function is given within the script tag. The script tag may contain the actual definition of the JavaScript, or it may provide a link for an external file which stores the collection of JavaScript. But for convenience purpose, I am giving the code for the JavaScript in this file itself. So here is the function greeting. So when the page is loaded, it creates onload event. The browser generates onload events, and for that load event, greeting class, sorry, a greeting method is invoke. So for this greeting method contains one sentence statement, that is alert, which is a built-in function for JavaScript. You are visiting the home page. Likewise, we go for the next one, that is radio button elements. Buttons are several types. One is normal buttons, then radio buttons, and then checkbox buttons. In the next example, we are giving one simple demonstration of set of radio buttons. So whenever a user wants to purchase a car, and this is very simple one. When a user clicks on a radio button, which triggers a call to alert, which presents a message to purchaser. So I'll go for later. Now we'll go next slide, that is for focus. Text boxes and passwords can generate four different types of events. One is blur, focus, change, and select. A blur means whenever the focus has been lost, and focus event, that means whenever the element is said to get focus. Here focus means it's a property or behavior of an element when the user puts the mouse over it and clicks it, then we can say that the element has got the focus. Whenever any element has the focus, then the keyboard events will be linked with that element. That means when I type any character, then those character will try to get displayed within that element if it is a text box. If there are two text box, I can type only in the one element at a time. I can't type it in the two elements or two text boxes simultaneously. So among two text boxes, only one of the text box will have the focus. To get that focus, that means to that element that is in the text box, we have to move the mouse cursor over it, and we have to click it. Or we can also use the tab key. So the advanced users are for experienced users will use tab key to save the time. Change is the event whenever we are typing it. That means the text has been changed. So either it may be null or it may be modified. Whenever we type a character or whenever we delete a character within the text box, it raises change event. Likewise, for select, if it is information typed within a text box is selected, that means by using mouse pointer, if we select the text by either by dragging the mouse pointer from first character to last character within the text box or by double clicking within the text box, then also it gives the raises the select event. So blur means whenever the element is focus has been changed. For the elements focus has been changed, that means the focus is shifted from one element to another one, or it lost the focus. We can do this by clicking the mouse button on different element. So the current element will lost its focus, and whatever the element we have clicked now will get the focus. And also by using tab key also we can shift the focus from one element to another one. So whenever an element lost its focus, then we will say that blur. That means it will lose its focus. We can do this dynamically and programmatically also, such that even though the text box or password or etc anything, if we can type it, if it's not disabled one, we can make that end user cannot type anything within the text box. This is useful whenever we want to display some information as a result of some expression calculation, such that user should not display or type anything within that text box. So we will go for that now. Okay, so I'm finishing the slide show. I will go for demonstration of the file. Okay. Observe here, here is a file radio button on click.html. Within body within the body tag, so there is one header of 4 level and one forum. Forum also has an ID, even though we are not using it. And there is one radio button, and they are all named as a cars. And here it is, we have provided one element, one value, that is value attribute, and with the value is 1. So whenever I click on the click on the radio button, every radio button will raises an event, that is on click, and on click event has been registered with the event handler, that is car choice car choice, and we are passing a value, and that value is same as the value provided with the value attribute. So here it is 1 and here it is also 1, and this car choice function is specified in radioclick.js in different file. We'll go for that file. Here is I'm written this function in a very simple way. In the car choice event handler, that is JavaScript function, there is one parameter, that is a model number. That model number is nothing but this is the value passed from the HTML page. Okay, radio click, and here the model number. Whenever the model number is 1, this block of code will execute it. That is case 1. And here is the alert. Thank you for purchasing Maruti Swift. I am simply using some name of the car models just for demonstration purpose. After that, break. So no other statement will execute here is, so function execution ends here. Likewise, here is one more type. Just observe this code. Input tag ends here only, and this text technically has no link with the input tag. That means it's not the internal element or internal content of the input tag. I am specifying radio, name is cars. Observe that all those are having the same name. It's not an ID, and every input tag, that is radio button, has a value, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4. And here is for first radio button, I given one text Maruti Swift. Likewise, next one is Ford Figo, then Honda Amaze, then Mahindra TV 300. These are all the some name of some cars in India. So if I click on the fourth button, that is this one, fourth radio button, it calls, that is invokes the JavaScript function car choice and passes the argument 4. And in JavaScript function series, for fourth one, it is thank you for purchasing Mahindra TV 300 break. Now let's run this, open this file within the browser window. Okay, it's a very simple file. You can see this. I just increase the zoom level of the page. Menu of car models. Here is one button which has a value 1. Here is the second button which has the value 2, and here is 3 and 4. That means when I click on this button, it calls the event handler and passes a value 1. So now I'll go for this button. After that, I got a prompt window, that's alert window. Thank you for purchasing Maruti Swift. Here is this page says. So this appearance of alert window will be different, and it depends on the type of the browsers and their versions. Click OK. I will select another one. Thank you for purchasing Ford Figo. Here it is. OK. Now fourth one. Okay, here is Mahindra TV 300. Okay. Now I'll make some little bit changes in the code. In HTML page, for the second one, I will make the value here is 6. Even though value here it is 2, I will pass the its value is 6. Let us check what will happen here. I will refresh the code. Now for March is 5th. Okay, I got a proper display. For Ford Figo, okay, what I got here is error in selection. Why it is error in selection? The reason is that the value passed to the car choice function is different. Let's go for the code again. So this is the second radio button. I have passed the value 6 for the JavaScript function car choice, and that is value 6. But in the JavaScript code for the case blocks there is no 6 as the label or case value. So that is there is only 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the passed model number value is not matched with any of the case values. So the execution control is passed to default section. In the default part, the message here is error in selection. So for that reason, we got the message here is error in selection. Okay. So that means here is the past value is different. Here is the message. Thank you for purchasing Honda Amaze. Okay. So this is the one experiment demonstration for the use of radio buttons click event. I will just rectify the error. Actually, it's not the error, it's a logical error. Syntactically it is correct, but we are getting the wrong output because of the logical mistake, that is semantic error in our code. I have rectified it now. I will refresh the page. Page has been reloaded now. Okay, I got the message information correctly, that is March is 5th, and for second one that is correct one, Ford Figo. So rest of the code is not modified, so we will get the correct answer. We need to check it again. Now we'll go for the second one. Here is a tabular columns. Those tabular columns used mainly for alignment of the elements. Aligning the elements properly within a web page document is very difficult. So in most of the cases, if there are multiple of elements and there should be order in the elements sequence, then tables are used. So by looking at this code, don't think as it's a very bigger one. Elements alignment is very important, hence table is used, and we can do this without the table also. Let's go for the code. HTML part, head part. Observe here is there is a JavaScript file linked with our code, that is HTML part, and name of the JavaScript file here is nochange.js. There is one forum, and within the forum one header 3 level line, and here is the table. In each row there are 3 cells, data cells. Here I am using header cell, that means by default it will display the content in bold letter, product name, price and quantity. Accordingly, in the next rows also 3 cells are there. One is header, that is th first one, next is data value, and there is one text box, input type text box. I will show the file first in the browser, then you will realize what the effect of this code. Okay. See this, a table, 4 rows, 3 columns. This is the first row, and here is one element per cell, its value, and there is one text box. The size is small here is, so you may think that I am typing within that data cell. Not like that. Actually, it is there is a text box within the table cells, and there I am typing play fountain, and that's the last row. And here is a value is given, that is 30, and it is 1. If here is a button and there is a text box here, observe that these three are also buttons. When I click on this button, it gets focus. The focus of the element we can identify. For example, if I click on the submit button, we can see that when I click on the mouse button, the behavior of the or status of the button will it's changed. Either its background or the font color of the text will get changed. And here also in the text box, we can see the cursor. Text cursor is blinking within the text box, and usually the border of the text box will be bold, that is a thick border. If I move the cursor by using tab key, observe that total cost is the mouse pointer. The total cost button gets focus and its border is highlighted. Likewise, another one, that is submit order, got the focus. Now clear order button has the focus here. That means whenever an element lost its focus and another element got the focus, that is blur event. So if I press the tab key once again, clear order form button, that is reset button, will get blurred. That means it will lose its focus. So somewhere here is now. So once again I will go for the code. See, here is row cell in the first cell, second cell, and third cell in the second row. Likewise, classmate and value in the next one. Observe that here is the input text box, and every element has a unique ID. No other elements are having same name. Here is text, here is one is ID king size, here is one more ID, that is classmate, and here is third one text ID have player. And total cost that is specified here is, that is total cost has the value, and on click compute cost is executed. Compute cost is given in the no change dot javascript. And here is very important point, in the next text box, that's the this one next to the total cost button, on this sorry, on focus, the function called or the built-in javascript function is this dot blur. So that means whenever I bring the focus to that text box, it immediately gets blur. I am intentionally calling this series so that no one can type there. Let us check here. I will bring here is, see that I can type here, I can type here also second button, sorry, second first text box, second text box, third text box, but I can't type this even though it is text box, because whenever I click here is it gets the focus. When I release the button, immediately it gets blurred. So now let's go for the code in the JavaScript. It's very simple one. In the JavaScript, whenever the compute cost is invoked, we will get the element by id by calling get element by id. Observe that I'm using the id of the element and its value is extracted. Since it is extracted as a string, I will parse it into float. Since it is a number values are there, so I can go for parse int also. Just for demonstration purpose, I'm using parse float. We can safely go for parse int also. So whatever the value typed within the text box with the id king size will stored in the variable king size. Observe that the word king size what I am highlighting here is not same as the king size specified within the get element by id, because this is this king size, word king size is name of the element, whereas is a name of variable. Likewise, get element by id stored in that is from classmate and its value is extracted stored in classmate. So this is the usual practice of the web programmers. Whatever the name of the id is used, the same name the variable is created. So that means by looking at the name of the variable, they can identify that from which type of from which element the value is extracted. So now likewise similarly for flare, and here it is king size into 45. Here king size variable will contain the quantity entered within the page. So here it is. I will just change it. It is a little bit bigger value 1, and give here is also 1 and it is also 1. That means these values are extracted and stored in the variables in the JavaScript. So I specified king size quantity as 1, and here is classmate quantity is also 1, and flare is also as the quantity 1. So here is 1 1 1. So when I click on the total cost button, sorry, it's here. When I click on the total cost button, it calls compute cost. So compute cost is here. Values of the values entered within the text boxes are extracted here, and this is evaluated, that is king size into its value, king size quantity into its price, classmate quantity into its price, and flare quantity into its price, and this value is assigned to value property of the element total cost. Observe that this is very important. In the web page, I cannot type in this text box, but I can modify the content programmatically by using JavaScript. Here is some expression is given, here is it is executed and its result is assigned to the value of the element for the property with id total cost. So now run the program. Sorry, I'll refresh it once again. Here is two more button, just is a few seconds, I will just cover it. Two buttons are given, input type that is submit, value that is the caption, submit order, and next one is here is input type reset and value is clear order forum. That means reset button with the caption clear order button. So when I click on the reset button, so whatever the information typed and selected made in the text boxes, check boxes, etc., they will get cleared, and submit will go for the default submit option, and usually it is provided in the forum tag action that is not mentioned here is, so nothing will happen when I click on the submit button. So now I'll come to the browser, I'll refresh it, I will type some value 334. Observe that if I click on the clear order forum, they will get cleared. So now 1 1 1, I have given the quantity as 1 for all the text boxes. Now I will click on the total cost, check the information that will get updated within the within the total cost text box. Observe that I get the value 140. Let's check. Since quantity is 1, I can directly add these two, these three. 45 plus 65, 110, 110 plus 30, 140. I will change the value also. Total cost, okay, 5740. We can check that manually also. I have already tested this, so I will not go for rechecking these values. Okay students, this is the demonstration of using blur event and providing the click event for the radio buttons. So one is directly giving the alert, and important point here is that we have stored the code in separate files, and we have included in our code by using script tag and src format attribute. Src stands for source. Where is the source of JavaScript file? So this is the information, but whatever the topic I have covered here is, that is according to syllabus, but so it is very limited one. To get the more information about the topic or web programming in the web internet, there is website. For example, it is CSS or JavaScript and wiki. We can refer these websites to get more information about the JavaScript. In the Wikipedia, you will get some general information, and if you want to get the more technical information, instead of this, one more website is there, very excellent for the beginners of web programmers or any web technology learners. That is called here is W3 schools. W3 schools is not related to actual W3 consortium. It is an independent. Its name just somewhat similar. Here is in the JavaScript tutorials. I will just open. Here not only JavaScript, you will get many other related informations also. Here is JavaScript tutorials. You will get many sections. See that how it can be utilized. Not only this, it also have very good collection of tutorials for HTML, CSS, Python, PHP and other related information. Here is the list. You can learn anyone. These are all not very advanced topics, but to learn the basics of those web technologies, you can refer this website. It has very good collection of beginners tutorials. Okay, thank you students. Let us conclude this topic today. Thank you.